everyone.
Hey, welcome everyone. So I'm here, Jennifer Alfsen, and I see some familiar faces, which is exciting. I do want to get started since we're about 6 minutes in and we have an exciting game to play. But first off, thank you everyone for joining us. And hi, I hope you guys have a beverage of choice in hand. I'm gonna open mine up. That sounded really exciting, but it's just sparkling water. The exciting thing's over here. Oh, hey. So to start things off, we're gonna go through and do, well, I also wanna thank the sponsors. So 17 terawatts or Bodhi, and actually there was sorry, I went away from the screen I'm supposed to be looking at. So 17 terawatts is a design-focused software company, and their app Bodhi empowers residential solar companies to deliver amazing customer experiences. And also sponsoring today's event is Lighthouse Solar, which is a Texas-based renewable energy solutions provider with a focus on architecturally integrated solar applications for residential, commercial, and community customers. And then last but not least, Mayfield Renewables. And we are a design and technical consulting firm that specializes in commercial and PV energy storage. We provide system design, drawings, consulting, and training to help EPCs get PV and storage projects designed right the first time. We also offer technical consulting for companies who care about being industry thought leaders and providing the best technical support to their customers. And you can learn more and get free technical resources at mayfield.energy. And enough of that, let's get to the fun stuff. So I do want to go through just real quick and we'll do some introductions. I see we have about 14 people on the line. So I will start us off and we're going to do just really quick name what you do in the industry, how long you've been in the industry, and then where you're located. So I'm Jennifer Alfsen. Hello. I am the Director of Business Development for Mayfield Renewables. And I have been in the industry for 9 years. And I'm in Berkeley, California. And why don't we go to you, Scott?
Yeah, I'm Scott Nguyen, CEO of 17 Terawatts. I am based in Austin, Texas. Been in the solar industry just a handful of years. Yeah.
All right, thanks. And how about Ryan?
Okay.
Or I guess that's a good strategy. How about whoever introduces themselves when they're done calling someone else?
Hey, Ryan.
Ryan, I think this Ryan. Ryan Mayfield, founder, CEO of Mayfield Renewables. I am based in Corvallis, Oregon, currently sitting in Mount Vernon, Washington. And I started in the industry in 1999. We'll go over to Stan.
Based in Austin, sitting in Austin, been in Austin for a long time, in solar for about 13 years, and CEO of Lighthouse Solar. How about Caro?
I am in Costa Rica, from Costa Rica, based in Costa Rica, and probably joining you from the farthest maybe right now. I've been in the industry since 2009, and I currently do lots of consulting, and I work part-time with SEI, with Solar Energy International, and I teach for them in English and Spanish. That's about it. How about, let's see who's in there, Ryan Hunter. There's another Ryan.
Hi everybody, Ryan Hunter. I'm president of Freedom Solar. I'm sitting here with Chad Priest, COO of Freedom Solar. I've been in the industry since 2005. We're both sitting here in beautiful, sunny East Austin, Texas. Oh, I'm supposed to pick somebody. How about Michael?
Mike, thanks for calling me. Oh, you said you're where in East Boston, Texas? Austin, East Austin. Okay, makes more sense. My name is Michael Goldberg. I'm the director of marketing at CED Green Tech. I've been in industry since 2006 or 7, I think. And I'm the director of marketing here. I live in Cambridge, my office is based in Boston, but no one's working at other offices. And I'm across the river in Cambridge, Massachusetts.
I'd have to scroll over some people.
You're muted, Jennifer.
Oh, I got to pick somebody
Hello?
now. I got to pick someone.
Before you get to the next person, just to let you guys know, in the chat, we put the Kahoot game link. If you guys want to start opening that up, because you'll have to either open it in a browser and then enter a PIN.
Okay, great.
For the game that we're going to play, but I wanted to keep the gallery view up so we can see each other's faces during the intros. So go ahead, Michael, pick
Oh, yeah. So
else.
I definitely want to call on Emmett. Where I see right there.
Thanks, Michael. Good to see you.
Good to see
I'm
you.
Emmett. Yeah, I've been known Michael for some time. Spent about 8 years at Civic Solar. Now I'm teamed up with Scott and 17 terawatts. It's been a lot of fun so far. And I would choose, list is getting shorter. How about Sarah? Or if Sarah is having technical issues, I would also choose, how about Susan?
Thank you, Emmett. I think I've met you once before. I'm Sue Stark. I'm the Senior Manager of Training at Iron Ridge and Quick Mount PV, because we're a new combined streamlined company. I've been in the industry since 2010, started working for a New Jersey residential installer, and then decided that training was my gig. So I've been training for Quick Mount PV and now Iron Ridge on rooftops and in distributor locations, and now lots of web trainings. I'm based in New Jersey. Is there anybody else to pick? Is there Sarah on the line that?
Hi, sorry, I had a customer call real quick. Were we just doing intros?
Yeah, super quick intro. Let us know your name, what you do in the industry, how long you've been in the industry, and then where you're located.
Yeah, sure thing. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm actually located in Austin, Texas. Work for Celigent Distribution, and I'm the regional account manager for the Southwest kind of territory, the Texas, Oklahoma, New Mexico, Arizona. And I've been in the industry now. I guess I worked for an installer 3 years ago, but technically in distribution about 2. And Mr. Emmett Maranker himself was actually one of my mentors. So yeah, nice to meet you guys.
Thanks. And then go ahead and pick someone else who hasn't introduced themselves. Or is there, let's see, have we heard from Nafi?
Hi, I'm Nafi. I'm the Marketing and Communication Director at Lighthouse Solar. I've been in Renewables since 2016 and located in Austin, Texas. Very nice to meet you all, guys.
All right, thank you. And who else? Let's see, James. Did you already introduce yourself?
Nope, James Ornstein. I'm from the Dallas area, a little bit south in Duncanville. I've been mainly doing volunteer work recently. I guess I started doing some training. I've got an engineering background like in 2008 in solar. I'm currently interested in doing some community solar projects in the Dallas area, and we're trying to form a new company to do that. So it's exciting times.
Wonderful. Thanks for joining us. Justine.
Hi, this is Justine. Good to see some familiar faces. I've been in the industry a long time. I might take the prize here, 27 years. Maybe not. We'll see who else comes in.
You don't want to know what the prize is, though.
Ah, right. A cane.
Yes, yes.
Seriously.
Maybe it should be a neck brace from the whiplash from the
Right?
roller
Oh,
coaster.
good one. Absolutely. So yeah, I've been in the industry a long time. Right now I'm working for Mayfield Renewables. I guess my title is Senior Technical and Design Analyst. Do a lot with solar plus storage. Used to work for Home Power Magazine, Solar Energy International, doing a lot of training, worked at NREL, but way, way back in the day, and research. And so, yeah, I want to pick Nikki. I've already picked him out. I can see you right there. To go next.
All right, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
So I might take the other cake for the shortest time in the industry. My name is Nikki. I work for Mayfield Renewables right now as a designer. And in terms of what I've done in the industry, I graduated about 2 years ago and went into utility scale solar for a little bit, and then have jumped over to Mayfield since then. Did some residential during graduate school too.
All right. Thanks for joining us, Nikki. And then Jan, have you introduced yourself yet?
No, I stopped in late. I'm so glad to see you all. I am the CEO of Blue Banyan. We do software for, it's kind of business management software for solar installers. And we have an integration with Bodhi, which is a beautiful thing. And I have been in solar for about 10 years, but software for, maybe 27. So in that time frame. And I am really glad to meet you all. And we're really focused on reducing soft costs and working with the Department of Energy orange button stuff to try to get us all to speak the same language, which is remarkably challenging. And slowly but surely, that's what I'm trying to do with the industry.
All right. Thanks for joining us today. And Rajiv, did I say that right?
Yes, you did. Hi, everyone. Yes, I'm Rajiv Handia. I'm the president of Shine Development Partners, based in Houston. I've been in the industry for about 9 years. We're essentially a developer, financier, integrator of non-residential solar projects, C&I scale, small utility scale. And thanks for inviting me to this. I work closely with Stan Pipkin and a little bit with Scott, hopefully in the future with Bodhi.
Wonderful. Well, is there anyone else who hasn't introduced themselves yet?
Gunter?
Gunter,
go ahead.
maybe. Gunter, you there?
Hunter on the line?
Okay, maybe he's not muted. So Gunter, can you hear us?
Yes, hello everybody.
Hi.
Yeah, my name is Gunther Berding, and I work with Geoscape Solar from New Jersey. I've been in the solar industry for 2 years now around, but longer in the renewable energy industry, coming originally from Germany.
Great. Well, thank you for joining us. Welcome, everyone. And this is exciting. So this is a game that we're going to play today, and it's kind of based on the NPR segment, Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me, where they do a trivia, and then they also do a Bluff the Listener segment. So we're going to play using this Kahoots thing. So if you go to www.kahoot.it, and then enter this game pin, and I'll put this into the chat right now as well. Get a little bit easier for you. Here's the chat.
I think Scott put the Kahoot link in there, right?
Okay. Yeah, it's already.
I did earlier, but yeah.
Yeah, and I put it in there again, so it's in there, and then the game pin is what you see on the screen, and then also what's in the chat. So I'll give you all a few minutes to log in there. And let's see, right now the names that are showing up on the screen are the people who are in the game. So if you don't see your name on the screen, then you're not in the Cahoots game yet.
Yeah, make sure I think sometimes the hardest thing is to come up with a really good nickname.
Oh, right. And so the first, I think 2 or 3 questions are just a random trivia. And then we're gonna do a Bluff the Listener round where Scott, Ryan, and Stan are going to read 3 different solar stories. And then you all have to figure out which one is true. So there'll be 2 that are false and then 1 that's true. And then you'll guess which one is the correct one. And yeah. All right, so is anyone else still trying to log into the thing, or should we wait a few more minutes? Or
are you supposed to see more than a green screen saying you're in?
That's what, that's what you're supposed to see. Just a green screen, you're in.
Perfect.
If you guys look at mine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, sorry, I might be seeing something else since I'm the host of the game. Yeah, so right now I have Ryan H, Rajiv, Nafi, James, Sue, Nikki, Makai, Carol, Michael, Emmett, Sarah, and Justine are all in the game. All right.
Nice R rolling.
I have it. Is your full name Carolina? Yeah, my cousin's name is Carolina. Okay, let's get started. So, dun, dun, dun. This is just to make sure you know how to click buttons. Are you ready? Do you know how to click buttons? All right, 8 out of 11 people know how to click buttons. Let's go
It's
on.
going to be a steep funnel.
I'm really surprised no one hit no.
So throughout the game, you'll see a scoreboard tally. So that first one was 0 points. So that's why everyone's on the same. But Cahoots thinks Justine's on leading. So.
Oh, you also get scored by how quickly you answer.
Yeah. So, okay, last month, California Governor Gavin Newsom issued an executive order requiring that all be 0 emissions by 2035. Was it cows, new passenger vehicles, government buses or trucks, or I need to move my screen, or ride sharing? Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, time's up. It's also timed.
Yeah, it's timed. You got 20 seconds for each question to answer. Sorry, I probably should have reiterated that.
This is the Hunger Games.
Yeah, so the correct answer is new passenger vehicles. Okay.
Whoa.
So Nikki is in the lead based on his response time. Good job, Nikki, with that fast trigger finger. Next question. Oh, it's worth double points. What does NABCEP stand for? Is it the National Association of Board Certified Energy Practitioners, the North American Board of Clean Energy Professionals, the North American Board of Certified Energy Practitioners, or the National Association of Board Certified Energy Professionals? Which one is it? You have 8 seconds left to decide. I should have put Jeopardy music on in here. All right. The answer is North American Board of Certified Energy Practitioners. Good job to those who got that one right. And that is the start of our trivia. We're next going to go to, all right, Ryan H. took the lead. Emmett is right on his tail.
What happened to Nikki?
Nikki, you
so
dropped
quickly the fates
off.
change.
Yeah. Okay, so the next one is going to be the stories questions. So we're going to get into a round of Bluff the Listener. So we're going to start now with the first topic, which is, who's starting us off, Scott, with the first question?
Stan's going to start us off.
All right, so,
okay.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say the round is called Unexpected Stakeholders.
Unexpected stakeholder. So I'm going to keep the screen here for now, because as soon as I hit next, it's going to have you guys answer. It's only going to give you 20 seconds to answer the question. So I'm going to let them read all 3 stories first, and then I'll click next when we're ready to decide. So pay attention to the next 3 stories that are read for which one is true. So Stan, start us off.
Okay, this is a true story. So on a business trip to India a few years ago, a developer took some time to prospect some solar project opportunities and also to visit some relatives while there. But upon touring some existing rooftop installations with a customer contact, who was really his guide, in the town of Ahmedabad, his guide mentioned a problem with local Vandaro Veda issues, which in the Gujarati dialects translates to monkey business. He thought perhaps the guide was referring to issues with the system host or folks in the local community messing around with the panel somehow. What the guide actually meant was problems with real monkeys, not human beings, climbing on the panels many times in large groups and damaging them in various ways, not to mention creating lots of shade just sitting around on them. Now, this is a major problem with solar installations in India, not only with monkeys, but other animals like peacocks that interfere with the rays. So much so, there are now monkey insurance policies available now. All right, go, Scott, you take it away.
All right, so that was the first story, monkey insurance. Next story.
Can you guys hear me real quick?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, this is also a true story. The llama gets the last word. A ground mount system was being installed on a farm in the San Luis Valley. The farmer cautioned the PV designer to be mindful of the resident llama. The farmer warned that in the event the llama charges, be aggressive and he'll back away. The designer said that he'd warned the crew, and when the crew came, the installers began to unload the solar modules, which happened to be black framed. The llama became agitated, first spitting, and then charged at an installer carrying a module. The installer dropped the module and, recalling the caution, yelled loudly and stomped randomly, inadvertently cracking the panel. The farmer could not calm the animal, and the crew decided to return later. On returning, the crew had to change the modules because of a supply chain mix-up, and the replacement modules now being silver framed. The same installer, to prove that he was not to be tested, approached with the new module toward the llama, and the llama began to raise its rear, but calmed, snorted, and turned away. Apparently, it approved of the new silver frame modules over the black ones.
All right, so silver frame loving llama was the second story. And third story, Ryan, what do you have for us?
So they both said theirs was true, but they are lying to you all. So just so you know, this is really the true story. So an installer was making the final checks during a site visit for a rural customer's ground-mounted system near the Arizona border with Mexico. As the contractor and the client discussed the final details, the subject of a small airstrip that abutted the area of the proposed install came up. The client had done a little bit of research and asked about the effects of glare onto the approaching airplanes. The installer, who had come across this issue before, proudly offered up to do a glare study using methodology endorsed by the Federal Aviation Administration. The customer immediately grew visibly anxious and refused the service, as it was clear he didn't want anything to do with the federal agency and the potential of any oversight. The contractor backed off that idea of the study. Finally, the installation went in, and the final solution was a custom retractable awning system that used camouflage tarps over the array whenever there was an incoming flight.
All right, so let's see. I'm gonna click next on the Kahoots thing. So you all ready? You're gonna only have 20 seconds to think of what is the true story. So was it monkey insurance? The llama gets the last word, or is it glare not to be seen? So let's see. Oh, and this one's worth double points. So unexpected stakeholders. Monkey insurance, was it the first story that Stan read? Was it llama gets the last word, the story that Scott read? Or was it the glare not to be seen, read by Ryan? You have 4 seconds left. All right. Stan's story was the right one, monkey insurance. All right, great job. So the next category, and again, I'm not going to click next until we're ready to listen to all of the stories first, and then I'll click next when we're ready to answer. So the next theme of stories is weird customers. So first off, we have Stan again. Why don't you read us off the first story? Solar is clean energy, but could be cleaner. Oh, you're muted, Stan.
So in a San Antonio suburb, a customer had a technical salesperson out to evaluate the house for solar. The stated goal of the homeowner is to meet the energy needs in a respectful, even aesthetic manner. When the representative arrived and was invited into the house, which looked clean and well kept from the outside, he found upon entry a chaotic combination of dog hair, flea excrement, discarded food containers, magazines, dirty clothes, evenly and densely distributed throughout all reaches of the carpeted downstairs. In fact, a worn trail was visible, like a wilderness path through an otherwise impassable terrain. After navigating to the main breaker box, the technical salesperson went to wash his hands at the sink. Reaching for what looked like dish soap, turned out to be a fly strip coated with green gelatinous adhesive, home now to scores of flies who made the same mistake. After some pleasantries, the customer actually signed the contract, who came to install the system several weeks later. The customer fired the company, asserting that the electricians refused to wear booties over their shoes when working in the house. And that's a true story.
All right, thank you, Stan. Oh, so a hoarder's house of horrors. Our next weird customer story. Scott, want to take us underground?
Yes, sure, and this is also a true story. So an installer in Hawaii was doing a site visit and greeted the customer in its driveway. They walked towards the front of the house, around the circular driveway, but rather than turn down towards the sidewalk to the front door, the customer leads the installer past the garage and towards a gazebo a good distance away from the building. Now, once at the gazebo, the customer asked the installer, "Are you ready?" The customer then presses a hidden button, and then the entire structure of the gazebo begins to spin like a carousel and spirals down to an ominous entrance to an underground lair. The installer is sworn to secrecy, never to tell anyone about what he just saw.
Wow, underground lair. I would like to be hiding down there right about now. All right, so our third weird customer story. Is it true? Is it false? We don't know. Ryan, what do you have for us?
A hint, it's true. But a Florida installer agreed to install a 12.1 kilowatt system for an eccentric ham radio operator north of Orlando, Florida. The customer required that the array operate at a maximum power between 4:16 p.m. and 5:08 p.m., as he believed this would boost the power of his radio. He'd gone so far as to dictate the array be installed at an azimuth of 267.9 degrees and a tilt angle of 32.6 degrees. The customer, a previous Brendan Award winner as it turns out, was part of a local SETI, which is a search for extraterrestrial intelligence group that measures the intensity and timing of local radio signal traffic. He had also mapped out the most conductive times for ionospheric stability, thus concluding that the late afternoon during the springtime was the optimal time for his attempt for transmission. In addition to timing the transmission just right, he believed the additional power provided to the ham radio would increase the range of transmission to better the chance of making contact with aliens. The installation was a success, and the installer receives updates from the customers on how well the system is working every month or so, usually late at night via Skype.
All right, so which story is, oh, well, we have another leaderboard. Jan is currently in the lead. Woo, go Jan. Okay, so which one of those weird customer stories was the right one or the true one? Was it the first one that Stan read us about the solar is clean energy but could be cleaner, the story about the hoarder?
Absolutely.
Was it the underground layer that Scott shared with us, the super secret space? Or is it Ryan's story about the extraterrestrials? All right. Underground layer is the right one. Wow, only 2 people got that one. And I think that story came from, who is it, Kyle Bolger? Yeah, Kyle from Blue Planet Energy. I guess if you want to find out where that secret layer was.
These are great stories, y'all.
It gets weirder. It gets weirder.
Yeah, we have so many more. Okay, I'm going to go on to the next one. So
he was sworn to secrecy.
Oh yeah, so, well, but you don't know where it is.
True.
Could be anywhere.
I think you can press next, and next should just go to the leaderboard, and so then we can stop there before going to the next question.
Oh, there we go. Oh, it does keep going to the leaderboard. Nice.
Resurgent.
Okay, Nikki is back in the lead. So round 3, we are going to go into field fixes gone amok. The first story, Dan, Stan, sorry, you want to start us off?
All right, I'll respond to Dan too. So this is coming out of the Front Range. A Colorado couple installs solar both on their house and a boutique 3-story hotel that they were in the process of building. The solar on the house happened to be over the couple's bedroom. Now, after the system was turned on, the couple complained about EMF, electromagnetic fields, affecting their sleep. The solar company tried to explain with all composure that the solar system does not produce EMF and certainly doesn't when it's not operating, which happened to coincide with the couple's natural sleeping patterns. Before reason could sink in, the couple demanded that the solar system on the hotel be investigated and any sources of EMF be mitigated. Because the project had complicated financing in place, it was not an option to remove the solar system components. Instead, the couple demanded that the solar company rewire the top 2 floors of the hotel by taking out all of the circuits and reinstalling the wires, twisting them inside the conduits to neutralize the production of EMF. Now, the solar company complied and in the end received a coupon to the boutique hotel for 3-night stay.
Wow, bougie EMF boutique. So, second story, Scott, what do you have for us?
All right, I got a true story here about trees, no problem. So in Virginia, a family on a large country estate with a prominent entry drive wanted to install a solar system. The property was lined with trees planted in the Jeffersonian rigor to replace the lumber used in the construction of buildings on site. And then with the help of a local solar integrator, a site was chosen. Unfortunately, because of the restrictions of the sight lines, the only way to place the array would be to remove several mature hemlocks, each over 50 feet tall. The solar company figured that there was no path forward until the customer agreed to uproot and relocate the trees more than 30 feet to the west in order to open up the solar access for the system. A year later, the customer had constructed 2 new wood frame timber barn buildings on site.
So relocation turned to repurpose. Third story, Ryan, what do you got for us?
Okay, so here you go. Here, big hand again. This is the true one. So an EPC was and putting in the very beginnings of a 500 kilowatt system, and they had subbed out the foundation work. As the foundation crew was drilling the second 6-foot by 12-inch diameter hole, all of a sudden oil started shooting up from the ground. Being out in the middle of nowhere, far from the road, and having made the appropriate calls to check for underground infrastructure ahead of construction, the project manager was sure that they had struck oil. Visions of Beverly Hillbillies immediately filled his head. Immediately he called the rancher about their discovery, but the rancher deflated the PM by telling him, oh, that must have been one of the old pipelines that Shell abandoned back in the 30s. So the very next call the project manager made was to the Shell Oil Company in Central Valley, and as soon as he said the words oil leak, he said it was like black helicopters descended. Shell immediately stopped work, paid for the whole job to be put on hold, and took about 30,000 cubic yards of dirt, the size of a major lake. They then brought back new dirt, and to this day, the only record of this happening is a single disclosure form stating that there were no fatalities on site.
Wow. Okay. What a story. Am I still muted? No, I'm not. Let's see. Which one was true? Was it the bougie boutique with EMF? Was it trees needing to be, quote, relocated / repurposed? So, oh, the no problem one is the trees. EMF or striking oil. So no problem with trees, EMF, or oil strike. Dun, 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 dun. Striking oil. That is such a wild story. I need to hear more about that. Okay, we're going on to the next round. Let's see who is in the lead now. Nikki still maintaining the lead with Jan in second and Ryan H in third. Okay, next. In 240 BC, the Greek mathematician, that I cannot pronounce that name, used the shadow of a stick to calculate what? Was it the distance from Cairo to Athens, the distance around the earth, or the height of the Great Pyramids of Egypt? All right, distance around the earth was the correct answer. Okay, Nikki's still in the lead, Jan in second. Garo has made it, coming into third. Okay, what is a NRTL? Is it a nationally recognized testing lab? Is it a tiny turtle? Or is it a small module crack that slowly spreads? NRTL. A nationally recognized testing lab. All right, good job, everyone.
Nice.
That's actually my favorite acronym in the industry. Okay, second round of stories, and let's see who's in the lead right now. We got Nikki, Jan, and Caro. Emmett is closing in, and Ryan H. also still in the picture. So let's move on to the next round of stories. Next up, we have strange transactions. Stan, you want to start us off?
Sure, and because this is short, it's even truer than the other true stories, so just be prepared. An installer in Wyoming was approached to install a 500-watt off-grid solar array. Now, the customer was short on cash, but recently had a litter of pigs delivered on their farm. The customer asked if the installer would be willing, if at all possible, to take pigs as payment for their work. The installer thought about it and accepted the offer of 6 piglets as payment for the project, and thus recorded in their archive that the project came in at a cost of 0.12 pigs per watt.
Pigs per watt. I love that. Okay,
And that
Scott,
is PPW, by the way.
PPW. PPW.
All right.
That's a new acronym. All right, Scott, what do you got for us?
So I got this. I've got an installer in California was invited out to a rural property surrounded by tall, mature trees on approximately 10 acres. The customer, who was a disabled vet, spoke like an 1880s prospector and had 2 huge dogs, greeted him on a scooter. While surveying the area, the installer would point out a tree that would need to come down, and the customer would say, "No problem, I'll do that." Once inside, as the installer started to work on the design, the two dogs wrestled their way under the table and began jockeying for position between the installer's legs. The installer suddenly felt a huge wet tongue on his crotch and looked down to see one of the dogs licking his pants as though it were an ice cream cone. After an hour-long consultation, the customer signed the paperwork and said with a straight face, "Can I pay for it in gold?" And before the customer could object, the customer pulled from the towel covering the lower part of his scooter a handful of shimmering bars. Now, although not an expert, the installer noticed a blemish on one of the bars indicating a different material below the surface. Realizing this would turn weirder still, he feigned a call from his office, collected his things and his pride, and returned the paperwork and departed.
All right, shady gold bricks as payment. That was our second story. And third up, Ryan, what sort of nonsense do you have for us?
I have complete truth for you, Jennifer. So, Leonard Jefferson relied on his seeing eye dog, Argo, for over 13 years to navigate his home and sometimes the work that needs to be done around his house for maintenance. Argo was like another set of both eyes and hands for Mr. Jefferson. Argo was able to scratch at things and show his owner where something was. Mr. Jefferson decided to install solar at his house to help reduce expenses. And when the solar company came out to install the system, Mr. Jefferson had a very direct question. How do I know it's working? Seems pretty fair. He asked. The installer assured him that there would be an app with accessible features that would alert him to the production and functioning of the system. But not to be dismissed, Mr. Jefferson pushed to say, but how do I know it's my system on my house? The installer finally understood and agreed to assist Mr. Jefferson in corroborating that the system was indeed installed on his roof. So using an OSHA harness, static line, and padding from a pair of cougar paws, the installer managed to lift Argo to the top of the roof, allow him to sniff and scratch the array, and audibly let Mr. Jefferson know that indeed the array was there. Mr. Jefferson smiled and was satisfied.
Oh, that's so cute. Well, seeing dog verification, that's the final step in commissioning. All right, so which story is true for our strange transactions? Was it the first story that Stan read, pigs per watt? Is it the second story that Scott read, shady gold as payment? Or is it the third story that Ryan read, the seeing eye dog final commissioning inspector? Pigs per watt is the true story. I wonder what those pigs actually went for.
I told you.
I got a question on that. You're telling me 6 ppw equals 100 kilowatt. Is that right?
500 watt.
Yeah,
whoa.
It was a little small, yeah.
Got it. I totally
pigs.
misheard you. That's a bad, I was about to say that would be a bad deal.
These pigs were from southern Alberta, originally.
All right. So Nikki has taken the lead. Jan is still holding strong in second. Godwin in third. Ryan H. and James following up close and gaining some points. Next up, our theme is enthusiasm. So what enthusiastic story do you have for us, Stan?
All right, this was personally transmitted to me. I was fortunate to meet this enthusiastic person. So a customer who owns an import-export business outside of Phoenix wanted his solar system to meet two goals: reduce the carbon footprint of his family and use the highest quality equipment as possible. Now, the solar company, having heard this before, assured him that the Tier 1 material is manufactured to the highest standards. The customer, however, knew a little bit about overseas manufacturing and was not convinced that the solar supply chain was as organized as being described. So he took it upon himself to see it in person. Now, over the course of the next 5 months, he traveled to 4 continents, visited 15 manufacturing or material sourcing facilities. And just as he returned, a round of tariffs were imposed, which meant 3 of the facilities he had visited would be relocating to Southeast Asia and Eastern Europe. And in concession, he decided to go with the original recommendation from the solar company's salesperson.
All right. Very enthusiastic, tracking the footprints of where the solar is coming from. All right, Scott, what do you have for us for our second story?
I got this great story here. So a sales consultant was on a sales call for a system on a modified mobile home near the coast of Texas, where the Gulf meets the Intercoastal Canal. It was during a torrential rain, and when he arrived, the front yard was 6 inches. There was 6 inches of standing water. The consultant presented the initial design and proposal, which the customer had notionally approved. The customer was a former oil field technical engineer, and the consultant came to find out that he couldn't see nor hear very well. So although a conversation on the phone prior to the trip led to the consultant believed that the trip was intended to execute the project or the contract, the customer had apparently missed the fact that the ITC was a tax credit and not a reduction from the contract price. Upon realizing this, he threatened to strangle the sales consultant if the federal tax credit wasn't deducted from the sales price. And with every ounce of diplomacy and conciliatory body language, the consultant slid past the homeowner and out the door. The deal and the house were put in the rearview mirror.
Wow. Okay. Murderous customers. Let's see, can Ryan let's see if Ryan can top that off with the third story. Ryan, what do you have for us?
So mine's going to be, I think, amongst this group, the most relatable, and so therefore it's the most true story for the entire group. So
nice try, Ryan.
But now, so before the plethora of monitoring solutions became available, a customer in upstate New York purchased a Sunny Beam to accompany his rooftop system, and he absolutely loved it. He logged the results every evening into an Excel file, complete with weather notes and data, and shared it with his salesperson. He loved it so much he would take his Sunny Beam onto the roof with a squeegee and watch the production increase during the day as he squeegeed his modules clean. But as you can probably tell, the combination of water, glass, and roof don't really mix that well. The intrepid customer ran out of luck one day, slipping off the roof onto the porch below and then ultimately onto the ground. Fortunately, he only suffered a broken ankle and a mild case of distortion in the concussion. But while in the hospital overnight, he asked the nurse to make room in an outlet so he could plug in the computer his wife brought him so he could check the production of his system from that day and log the results. Confusing his enthusiasm for the continuation of symptoms, the hospital staff recommended that he stay another day for observation, thereby offsetting any savings from the solar array for many, many months.
That is a whole new level of dedication. All right, so of our enthusiastic stories, which one was the true one? Was it the first one read by Stan, tracking the supply chain footprints of a system all over the globe? Was it the second story read by Scott, the ITC chokehold, the murderous customer, or the third one read by Ryan just now, the monitoring OCD? Chokehold is correct. ITC. Wow. Good thing that person
murderous
slipped away.
You know how I know that I knew that story was true is because you said it was in the middle of nowhere, Texas. Those people have anger issues.
People
Love
be
Texas.
crazy. All right, so let's see who is in the lead now. We have Nikki, Jan, Carlos still holding strong, or the same 5 people. All right,
Damn,
good job,
Nikki.
everyone.
Wait, so has Nikki gotten every single question right?
He's on a roll, on a roll. It also has to do with timing. So he's a young whippersnapper. His fingers ready to
He's
go.
the shortest in the business. He's got his BS meter is very acute, very.
Yep. All right, our last round of stories, and I'll try to get this glare out. Last round of stories, last one. The rumor mill is the theme. So starting us off with the rumor mills, Stan, what do you have for us?
Okay, based on what Sarah said, this is also must be true. So a Texas town called Searson, it's near Waco, was notable in 2016 for the town-wide commitment to solar on every roof. The mayor, of French descent and later claiming ties to the Knights Templar, proclaimed an economic emancipation project called Solar Rising for the town that entailed a municipal rebate for local companies installing solar on local residences and using equipment that was blessed by the local clergy. Over 16 systems were installed, but the town ran into trouble when several members of congregations from neighboring towns began to snoop around Searson. Bumper stickers, poster campaigns, and science projects in the primary school all vaunted the benefits of the town-wide solar project. But when ads for the Solar Rising project were played during a Sunday morning church radio program, the gloves came off. The mayor was called to task for single-handedly directing resources to the pet project. His French heritage was also maligned, and thus the mayor ended up moving to Quebec. The residents who installed solar remain in solidarity and raise a flag every year on the solstice to their ousted mayor.
All right, ousted mayor to start us off. Scott, what do you got next?
Oh, I got this great true story from my days back at in Cambridge in Massachusetts. So back in 2008, 2 Harvard MBA graduates founded a clean tech startup called SoBright that promised cities and municipalities could lower their electricity costs by installing their patented SoBright panels, an integrated smart panel that attached below street lamps to capture excess unused light. The startup, with the help of board members Wesley Clark and Bill Richardson, secured a $20 million Department of Energy loan under the green infrastructure provisions of President Obama's $787 billion stimulus bill. The startup inked a deal with the city of Marlborough in Massachusetts, but the deal fell through during the planning stages when it was realized that the clearance from the street to the panels wasn't great enough for the city trash trucks.
All right, so the SoBright startup. Next, third question. Ryan, what do you got for us? I mean, third story.
The only true one of the group, by the way. So clearly, obviously. So not so long ago, the town of Woodland, North Carolina became an attractive location for solar farm developers because of the relatively inexpensive land and proximity to a substation. The otherwise quiet town became inundated by companies from all over the country seeking development opportunities, ringing the town's perimeter. The residents of the town began to talk, and the level of agnosticism grew. Some residents claimed that the solar farms would suck up all the energy from the sun and businesses would not come to Woodland. Others worried that the panels would prevent photosynthesis in the area, harming local vegetation. One concerned resident noted that the high rate of cancer deaths in the area, saying no one could tell her that solar panels didn't cause cancer. The solar boom never materialized in Woodland, but the residents' cacophonous protests resonated with other towns across the Piedmont area who demanded that in somewhat different ways that solar development projects take local concerns more seriously.
Right. A town, full town scared of solar. So which is the right one? This is our final one, and we're right at the end of the hour.
Make or break.
Make or break, and it's double points, the rumor mill. So was it the first one read by Stan, the Solar Rising, the ousted mayor? Was it the second one read by Scott, the SoBright startup, foiled by trash pickup trucks? Or a full town scared of solar? Number 9, Ryan, you told us the truth.
Honest Ryan, honest Ryan.
Only
Honest Ryan.
3 times.
Let's see who won the whole thing. All right, we have Jan is in third place.
Wow.
Carol took second, and first place is, drumroll, Nikki.
Strong.
Wow.
Good job, Nikki. Did I mention, Nikki, you're gonna get a bottle of Tito's vodka mailed to you somehow?
I don't think I jumped in that early, so excited to hear it.
And then,
Congratulations.
And then Carl, you're going to get Ryan's voice on your voicemail.
What about the lapel?
Oh, wow.
Lapel
That's
pin?
really special. Thanks, Ryan.
Lapel pin.
Look forward to it.
We'll get a NABCEP lapel pin for you as well.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe a pen, an NABCEP pen too.
Thank you everyone for joining. That's the end of our game. Good job, Nikki and Jan and Caro, everyone who participated. That was a lot of fun. And yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for all the stories.
Thank you, everyone.
That was
awesome.
a lot of fun. Thank you so much.